Here was Classic DM, and as promised, I'm going to do a side-by-side comparison and tell you what that's like for Monster Core. Now, the purpose of this video is not to really provide a review, like, oh, it's an 8.8 out of 10. You know, I don't do that kind of stuff. What I want to do is just show you, kind of what's in here. And we've got the answers that I posed a week ago. What was Paizo's approach to making this book? Like, what enemies did they put in there? Which ones they take out? How much art do they change? And that information will give you enough to probably decide whether you want to get it or if you want to skip it. So let's go ahead and take a look here. So this is the actual, I've got this in 2-page view so we can look at the table of contents. And I've also got the original Bestiary that came out in 2019, and then Bestiary 2, and then Bestiary 3 in the background, because what I did is this. I opened the book up and said, okay, the first thing I wanted to know was what's actually new enemy-wise, right? None of the enemies really new at all, except for like the dragons and a couple little things. Most of it is just cherry-picked monsters from the original Bestiary 1, 2, and 3. So it's not Bestiary 1 repeated. They cherry-picked little pieces and parts, and I was like, okay, let me try to figure out like why. I couldn't really find any rhyme or reason to it. There probably is. So I would say, okay, well, that's the Aeon and this Agzamite, or however you want to pronounce it. If you look at the Bestiary 1 and you go to the first page, you're like, wait a minute, it's the same thing. And the only thing that's really different is, of course, we all know that it's in the Orc license and the changes they made to ability scores and things like that. But the numbers are really actually the same. If you look at the two things, the acrobatics and some of the naming of things have changed. And we knew that's what was happening. We knew that the remaster is separating and divorcing yourself from the OGL. It's not supposed to be a new game, right? This is the way it should have been done in 2019. The only thing that really changed is the layout. The actual layout of the sidebars, top bars, and bottom bars compared to this one, right? You still have the peekaboo picture of the enemy in the upper right-hand corner, which is a theme that they like to do a lot. And let's take a look in here. You can see it over here as well. They always have like a kind of little cover snapshot peekaboo picture in the top, so you kind of know at a glance like which book do you have in your hand, which one you're looking at. But if you go to the sidebar, I noticed that almost every single one of the images is smaller. And the sidebar in the original one was the small little flaming torn piece of parchment, as if this book is, a real book, right? But the new one has got this big, fat, 1-inch wide sidebar, and then it has this side introduction glossary type thing on the right. So everything got kind of shrunk, which isn't really a big problem, but all the art they had previously, they ended up having to change it. So I went through the whole book. I said, okay, well, this guy here, this one here's in this book, this was in this book. So you can see that here on the right, on this one right here, this Pleroma, which I've never actually run one before, is still here, but they're split up over 2 pages, and you got this Kohler Yar, whatever it is, I can't pronounce it. These are Aeons, right? So I found it like, okay, most of the stuff was exactly as it was in the first Bestiary, right? So you start going alphabetically through the whole thing. Like, oh, look, this is basically the same exact page almost, just shuffled around. Like they talk about angelic treasure in Monster Core, but then they talk about it in the very first Bestiary and other angels over here, and then holy forces on this one. So there's little subtle changes, and boy, what a pain in the ass that must have been to go through all these enemies and find the little piddly bits that you got to change. We used to have a little sidebar here about, other angels, and now we got to change it to holy forces. So the whole book is like that. And as I started going page by page by page and flipping through the whole thing, okay, where's this guy? Okay, there's Azada. So let's go back to Bestiary 1. Where's the Azadas? Are they in here? They're a certain type of subclass of a monster here. They're still in the A's, in the AZ section. Let's go back there. So you see it's the same exact thing, but of course, because the new 1-inch thick sidebar on this side, everything is reduced in size. This is Monster Core. This is their Bestiary. Monster Core. This is the Bestiary. It kind of bugged me. I don't know what it was about it. I kind of felt like the pictures were all shrunk and made smaller, and I didn't really see the big great value in the sidebar. But hey, it's a layout thing. I'm not a layout guy. I'm not a book publisher. So there must be a reason why they wanted to do this. So that theme happened throughout the whole book. Every time I saw a picture and wanted to compare, a picture of the Banshee, and then I'd go to, I'd go to 1 and 2 and 3. I said, where's the Banshee? Okay, most of them were Bestiary 1. Every now and then something would be in a different one. And I would compare the two. I'm like, okay, it's just flipped and mirrored, which is fine because it's got to be on a different page. So I kind of felt like after a while that this is just basically the Bestiary 1 all over again, but little pieces of stuff were added, like this Bandersnatch. I couldn't find him anywhere. Like I was like, okay, where's this Bandersnatch? It's not here. It's not Bestiary 1. Let's go look for the bees. Babeebes, Badger, Bandersnatch. So it would appear between these two. And then I went to Bestiary 3. I looked around for this Bandersnatch, and I thought to myself, you know what? He's probably in a path, one of those adventure paths that I don't have, or one of the adventures. I was like, oh, I don't see this thing anywhere. Where's this Bandersnatch coming from? Is that something? Because that's kind of like a classical mythology enemy, like something you might see in a myth or a folklore and stories from Europe. So I wasn't really sure where they came from. So what are we trying to get at here, right? This book is just a restatement of everything you already have at your disposal, and the things aren't really that different. It's not really a brand new book. It doesn't have like 400 brand new illustrations. It costs a fortune. It's expensive to republish these books. It's really expensive book considering that you probably bought it the first time. So you probably don't really need it, to tell you the truth. If you're savvy enough to use the archives of Nethys, right? You can say you have a Banshee in your venture. You've got everything you need to know about a Banshee right here. This, creature 17 creature, about terrifying touch and spectral ripple and all the kinds of details you need, which you had before, right? It's the same. It is like they've been reinvented the Banshee completely. But then you look, it says strength -5, dex +6, and you go look at a monster core, and it's strength -5 and dex +6. So it's not like there's a major balance change here. 250 hit points. What do you got here? What AC 39, 250 hit points. Fort is 25. So it's not even different at all. It's like exactly this. It's just a reprint of the same thing. So it comes to the question of like, well, okay, what's good in the book? Well, in the very beginning, I'm going to focus just on Monster Core now. Okay, I'm not going to keep flipping back and forth. They talk about playing the creatures. They have these content warnings. Ugh, don't get me started on those things. They talk about languages and gear and skill, perception, precision. This is for people that want to play a monster. Like, I'm going to play a dragon. All that kind of stuff is in there. But in the back, like you would expect, let's go all the way down to the very, very back where there's zombies and crap. And there are a few new pictures in here. It's just not all. It's not totally obvious. It's not like every picture's new. You're going to recognize it. It has the ability glossary, which is really, 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 really useful, because you can put a post-it note and stick it on this page. You're playing at the table. And you're like, good lord, I can't remember what fast healing does again. And just flip back real quick. 2 sentences explains it. Or what does engulf do? How many actions does it take? It takes 2. So then it has the traits defined in here as 2. That's really great. So now you understand like what a hag is versus a ghoul or a rat folk or Sadakthi, whatever that is. So I thought that was really useful. It has these language sections in the back. That's really useful. But you kind of expect that anyway to happen in the Bestiary. And the creature by level chart is a godsend. You really, really need this. It really should have been in the GM guide, but they always want you to buy all their books, right? They have to. That's their book publishing business that also happens to make role-playing games. So overall, this is a good book, but it's not really new enough. But it was never supposed to be new enough. So it's kind of this weird problem where you're like, it's the restatement of the original game. That's really awesome. It's no longer OGL. We know for a fact that all these monsters are now under orc. So if you want to make your own adventure and put a Dryad Queen in there, you can just pull her right out of here verbatim and put them in your published third-party stuff, which would be really neat to see how everyone handles that. I'll probably write an adventure to try that out and see if people like it. Then the back of the book is just advertising all the credits, of course, and the orc notes, which I thought was hilarious. And they're advertising Player Core and GM Core. They're talking about Rage of Elements. They talk about the next book coming in spring, this Shanxia, I don't know how to pronounce this, like a Chinese pronunciation, which is one of the worlds in Galarian. And the back of the book says 400 creatures. So one of my original questions, and this is an old picture, by the way, one of my original questions a long time ago in the other video was, what are they going to do? How are they going to pick and choose who goes where? Right? Let's go back down to here. Are they going to just pick the ones that they like? Are they just trying to pick the ones that they think, like, here's Bestiary 1, here's Monster Core? It's the same thing. It's like exactly the same. It's supposed to be exactly the same. So I'm like, there's something about this book that I was kind of not as excited about when I got it. But I buy all their books because I want to support them. I don't want to support Wizards of the Coast ever. I want to support Paizo. I want to see Paizo succeed. I want to see Starfinder become more popular. I want them to make another game one day too. They're like the last bastion of hope of role-playing game companies in the world that've been around long enough to know how to do this. So with the book, you buy it if you like to collect and have all the books. If you're a game master and you're sitting at the table, yeah, you need it. Sure. You don't really need it. If you're playing electronically and you're playing with a laptop and you're not playing in person at your house or wherever your gaming room is, or playing at the local game store, you don't really need this. If you're a savvy tech person and you're using a laptop, you don't need this book at all. You can just use a PDF, which is $20, which is very affordable. So in summary, there's something about the book. It didn't feel new enough to me. But it doesn't mean it sucks. It's great. It's fine. It's the restatement. It's kind of weird. Like, the expectation of what you're going to get versus what you get, and it's the same pictures, they're just smaller and they're flipped, it's the same exact monsters, the entries are almost verbatim the same, and I was like, wow, I could just use Bestiary 1, 2, and 3. I really don't need this book at all. But then you feel compelled to have it because you want to make sure that you're getting the sampling that they chose. So the thing about, it's going to be very interesting to see, is do they do a Monster Core 2, and will that then cherry pick from 2 and 3, and less cherry picking from 1, because there are some monsters that are from Bestiary 2 and 3 in Monster Core, if I'm not mistaken. You correct me if I'm wrong there. I went through and double checked every monster to around M, and then I just stopped, right? I was going brain dead. But overall, this is a great book. It's worth using. It's now like, you know, this is the Orc licensed version of the book, right? And any monster that was gonna be dangerous territory where renaming was all renamed and everything. So there you have it. That's a quick inside look of what the Monster Core is all about. I hope it's helpful for you so you can make a decision whether you want to get it or not. Last thing I want to talk about, you know, there was some problems yesterday on the download. People were downloading the PDF, and it was like this 171 byte corrupted file wouldn't open. And that went on for a long time. And that went on for like, I was supposed to be able to download it at midnight, and I got the next morning at 7 and tried to download it, and I couldn't get it. It was corrupted. I sent them a little customer service note, went to the forums, and I saw that Jim Butler had said, oh, we're going to have this fixed by 10 Pacific. And around that time, it sort of got fixed, and then it got ultimately fixed. I know some people in some of the 4 or 5 Pathfinder Facebook groups I'm a member of, they all say, I still don't get it yet. And then he got an email follow-up, so you should hit this refresh button. I just don't understand how that happened. That was really weird. I just take the file and swap it out. But there must be something that had happened there that was a problem. Hopefully that's all fine now. But I probably am not going to buy the hardback. Even though I asked my local game store hey, they said they have one on order anyway. I was like, you know, I don't really need it. I'll buy something else. I don't really need it because I don't make enough adventures and run enough Pathfinder to make anything more valuable to me than just the PDF. But I try to support them, but I'm going to skip this one. But anyway, yeah, that's information for you. And hopefully it will help you make a decision whether you need it or not. If you're a book hoarder, buy them all. If you just want to be absolutely sure that your third-party content, you just need a PDF. If you're just going to play at the table, you probably can just use Archives of Nethys and the original Bestiaries, which I'm sure you do have. That's pretty much it for today. I hope you enjoyed it. But like I promised, I wanted to take a look and see how they handle this. And, you know, let's hope that the next thing coming up to look forward to, it's going to be Player Core 2. I'm not really personally interested in more region books of Golarion. A lot of people make their own stuff in their own worlds, and they just keep flushing out more and more Golarion. They've always done that. They've always make these book after book after book after book, and some people are like, well, I didn't ask for this book. So we'll see how that pans out. But yeah, that's pretty much what we got here. So make a decision on your own what you want to do, and if you want to get this one, then yeah, more power to you. And it's well done. It's just it's not really that new to get the hardback for me personally. All right, good luck, and we'll talk to you guys real soon.